Hello, everybody. My name is Nathan. Welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiser against Russia. It is almost episode, I think this is episode 7 now. It's almost 1937. What a great, what a great time to be here. So, last time we have sent some troops over to CNT because we don't want Carlos or the Kingdom of Spain to win the Spanish Civil War because they'll not be on friendly terms. Not that CNT necessarily will be friendly with us, but they'll be anti-Germany, which is way more important for what we're actually doing right now. And then also, aside from that, Ukraine is still having their little revolt. Not too sure how it will end up playing. It looks like the rebels here should probably win, based on what we're seeing. If we're very lucky, they might also go syndicalist, which will allow us to invade them prior to the Second Wilkrieg, which would be very useful for us, of course. But aside from that, I think everything's looking pretty good. We don't utilize the army. We do have some manpower, though. We got 50,000 that we can use. You're at 5 and 4, which is not great. Military factory. You know what? Sure. Let's get you going here. You'll be done in 2 days. Oh, the revolt actually failed. I'm actually surprised by that. I thought it would succeed. Memoirs of a Terrorist, Part 1. Boris Viktorovich was born in Kharkov in 1879 in a middle-class family and spent much of his youth in Warsaw and then in St. Petersburg. His father, a judge, was dismissed for his liberal views. His brother Alexander, a social democrat, was sent to Siberia and committed suicide. The other brother, Victor, would follow Boris's footsteps. He was arrested for the first time when he was 18 for taking part in a student riot and socialist organizations. After a short stint in Germany and Switzerland, he eventually was sent in exile in Volgograd. This brought the young man into the Socialist Revolutionary Combat Organization in 1903. He later recalled his short years in the combat organization as a formative period of his life. His cell took part in multiple high-profile assassinations, such as Minister von Pilev and Grand Prince Sergei Alexandrovich. It was during this time that he met Alexander Tikhov, a fellow terrorist, who would become his lifelong confidant. During this time, Savinkov immersed himself in the philosophy of terror, murder, and Nietzsche, formulating his idea of the Knights of Terror as a source of societal change, drawing from the terrorist Nordic traditions of Nordavaya Volya. But there was a snake in paradise. In 1908, the leader of the combat organization, Evno Aznov, Boris's mentor, was revealed to be an agent of Provocure in service of the Arkhanara. In his own words, this broke Savinkov's spirit. What little belief in socialism or Nardoism he may have had was shattered, and cynicism won in the end. He described himself, he became an underground man in Dostoevsky's novel, an anti-hero in a permanent state of ideological crisis and mental anguish, a terrorist without a cause. Okay, terrorist of a bygone era, 1% more party popularity, which I do appreciate. So you'll be done in 1 day. That's going to give us, okay, we can take another 80,000. So we get 2 naval dockyards or civilian factory infrastructure. We'll take you next. How bad is Black Monday then? Okay, it's significantly less bad than it was previously, which is fantastic. So, let's go back to our troops again. We wanted them kind of stationed around Madrid, just because there's less German troops up in the north, so I think it should be a little bit easier for us to take. Now, what about the Entente? They have troops from, Portugal, India, Ireland, and Canada. I'm not too sure, because I don't see them directly on our borders. Oh, and Serbia's now declared war on Bulgaria. Fantastic. So we want to... Are you at war with everybody? Not yet. Now you are. We can send 4 divisions. We can send so many troops, man. Okay, well, let's send this 4-stack. We'll send Vladimir Manstein down to Serbia. Again, I don't want to break any of these armies up entirely. That's not what I wanted to do. I've screwed this up somehow. You go back up here. You 4, I want you in a different army. And then let's just get, I don't know, 4 of these divisions as well. Send them to another army. We'll send 1 to Romania, and we'll send 1 to Greece. And that should... can we send we can also send aircraft as well. We can only send 3 to you. Okay, fine. Let's take... You can go and join... I think you're part of this army before, so you can go back there. We'll send these troops to Greece. And of course, we will be sending our aircraft as well. A hitch in reforms. While past land reforms have seen redistribution of land from nearly every social estate in Russia, one has remained conspicuously untouched. The aftermath of the Civil War saw many military officers cash in their retirement on tracts of cheap land purchased from the National Land Fund. Many actively serving officers did likewise, further complicating the question of how, if at all, this land is to be redistributed. With many former landowners penniless and unable to purchase their own lands, this class of officers quickly filled in the gaps as one of the most disproportionately land-rich groups in Russia. The officers, naturally, assert that their proud service in the nation entitles them to the land that they both earned and fought fairly for. Beyond simply holding vast tracts of land, it has also become increasingly clear that the present situation is also caustic to army morale, as many enlisted peasants have to been dealt with the ignominy of being commanded by their landlords. President Savinkov has refrained from commenting directly, so not to offend the military delegate's honor, but his writings extolling the Cossack model of peasant-farmer-soldier has often been cited by proponents of the reform. Distributing the officer's land may win back flagging public opinion, but earning new enemies in the military is not a cheap trade either. So right now, military anger is higher. When's it get bad? If military anger is 8, it'll have a coup, or if it's at 5 or above, and popular anger is at 8, then they'll coup. So if that's the result, I think we actually kind of have to take the get military anger up even a little bit more. I hate to do it, but I don't think I have much to. I don't think I can do anything about that. We can also send you air volunteers, and we can send you air volunteers. So let's send in our aircraft. So you guys go to Romania. You guys can go to Serbia. Then we have these two. And we'll send you guys to Greece. And we need one more plane. We'll send you to Greece as well. Fantastic. And for you guys, I guess you just like slowly push your way towards Madrid. I'm gonna have you on a careful battle plan. Don't do anything stupid though, okay? Just slowly push your way towards Madrid, and hopefully you'll be okay. And then our troops are we at war with Albania as well? Yes, we are. Okay, there's our reinforcements to Spain. If you can get your way down here, please, that'd be great. Military infighting. There's always been a struggle for the soul of the Russian army going on in the shadows, and more conservative officer corps are worried about the political potential of losing it. The SZRS has always had its home in radical veterans organizations, and there's a lot of fervent supporters in the lower ranks of the military, like NCOs and young officers who went through the hell of the Civil War as privates. The SZRS political materials are being shared in the garrisons, which is often prompted resistance from superior officers, conservative or liberal-minded, and is viewed as unprofessional. But the schism keeps growing between the true Slavonics in the ranks and those soldiers who value professionalism above personal loyalty to the Vods. That is not great. I will admit that. I don't know why I would want to bomb Romanian oil fields, but that's fine. You guys will arrive on the 20th, so you have a few more days until you're ready to go. Ignore the rest of these for now. And we don't need to... That's party popularity. 5%. Popular anger changed by 1. Yeah, I can't really afford anybody ever getting mad at us, ever. Flames spread to Dagestan. In the shadow of the Caucasian War, or Gazvat, looms over the North Caucasus. A conquest that lasted more than half a century. The Gazvat pitted people of the Caucasus not only against Russia, but against one another. Iman Shmuel, the third to hold that title, and the most ambitious, attempted to wield the entirety of the North Caucasus into a centralized theocratic state. In doing so, Shamil aimed to replace the region's traditional land-owning nobility with a new class of Muslim judges and clerics, known to Russians as the Murids. Shamil's insurgency grew into a serious threat, but also earned no shortage of local enemies who resented Shamil's attempts to stamp out local customs under his interpretation of Sharia law. The Russians found many allies among the anti-Shamil camp, planting the seeds of divisions that remain bitterly relevant up until the present. Chechnya and Ingushetia have been wrested for decades, plagued by a Brek banditry and Porya's border with Georgia. Neighboring Dagestan, however, remained relatively stable under the influence of Nazmuddin. the canny, if uncontroversial imam of Dagestan, a powerful landowner whose family rose to prominence after abandoning Shamil for the Russians. Gosny helped maintain order in the region after the end of the Civil War through a network of regional elites. Unfortunately, this network has frayed in the wake of the elderly Gosny's death in 1932. Now it seems that the fragile peace in Dagestan is on the brink of collapse. Many states and madrasas associated with pro-Russian landowners and clerics have come under attack after Ali Kayev's infamous sermon. Socialist and liberal-aligned clerics are preaching a new holy war in alliance with the All-Russian Combat Organization. Governor Nukbek Tarovsky has issued a call not only to rally local forces in Timir Khan Shutra, but also declare a jihad of his own against communist rebels. With unrest spreading from Averia to Dagestan, Russia's control in highland Dagestan will need to be forcefully imposed. Okay, so the pros and negative stability, which is, like, again, not really where we want to be, obviously. But, I mean, it could theoretically be worse. It could theoretically be worse. I don't know what's your problem? You have no supplies? I mean, that sounds bad. I mean, it is bad. Norway has gone socialist. And I want you to push your way down again towards Madrid. And our units have now arrived, thankfully, in... What are you guys? Strategic bomber? Sure, you guys do what you want to do. Give us the air superiority that we need in Bulgaria. So, Romanian troops, I want you stationed... I'm going to say, like, right here, and you're going to push your way towards Dobrik. Relax to make sure you also have a commander. There we go. Serbian volunteers. I'm actually going to have you come and kill off Albania first and link yourself down with the Greeks. And then the Greeks are going to basically do the same thing, but from the south. I think that seems fairly reasonable. So that's their plan. Actually, that means I probably should be sending some more planes into Albania here for our invasion. I do not know why you men are not moving. Okay, like one clique has capitulated, which is fantastic. Germans demand compensation. German Foreign Office and representatives of German business interests were outraged at the blatant breach of international law of trade, but ultimately understood that Germany is only a limited amount of means to counter us. They adopted a more pragmatic, or perhaps more profit-seeking, stance on negotiation. If the Russian government is willing to compensate for unjustly caused economic damage, Germany will also maintain a gentlemanly attitude and refrain from economic sanctions, which would only hurt both sides. +1 economic sanction point. Economic sanction points can be used to leverage German economic muscle to enact consequences against the Russian government. Glad they saw reason. Well, right now they're at high. Or we do, you know what? We do not deal with the Prussians. I also do need more political power. I also need pacification of the Caucasus, which requires me to have more guns, which I don't have because we're training new troops. I'll have to kind of worry about that a little bit later. Again, I want to push like one of these provinces. I think probably here should be fine. Because we can push you, encircle all this. I mean, of course, they do have they put more units here. Counter again. Okay, Greek forces. I'm trying to think, is there anywhere that's like weak here? Kind of you a little bit. It also looks like we might be able to push our way here? Does Albania have troops in these two tiles? It's hard to kind of see. The answer is no. Okay, well, let's just go to the city then. We'll have you move your way down to Taris. Okay, exit your orders for just a second. I'm going to put you here, and you're going to be moving your way down south. I think that seems okay. And then next up, what do we want to do? We can modernize the Siberian Railway, which I think does make sense. Let's do Petrograd security, actually. We get a little bit of war support off of this. And testing the Eagle. Germany is more distracted now than they've ever been. The most enthusiastic patriots are calling for war, but anyone understands the folly of such proposals. However, a message could be sent. A military advisor to the Vaz, Vladimir Manstein, has proposed an aggressive recon operation against Finland in the disputed region of Rapola. An operation against the core allies of Germany would be too risky. But a poke at a more distant German sphere link could show if Berlin still is willing to stand by their smaller client states. In the best case scenario, the Russian army could secure control over Pola and a strategically important Rajivari Road. And most importantly, it could be sold as propaganda. Russia's first step towards crushing the German yoke. If it fails, well, it can be written off as a minor recon mission. Well, we'll make the preparations. We'll go back into negative political power. That's fine. Hey, we're actually getting some 50 off this. So actually, big thumbs up. The Artelization. Given the SZRS's veneration of the Mir, a traditional peasant village, it is to be expected that the party fawns over the equally venerable institution of Artel. Typically translated as trade cooperative, the Artel has organized artisans, peasants, and workers for centuries. In the most recent decades, Artel has become a cornerstone of urban-rural mingling in Russia, as peasants migrating to find seasonal work in cities almost invariably organize themselves into Artels based on their village of origin. Artels played a curious role, both feeding new members of the far more proletarianized trade unions, but also maintaining traditional links to the countryside. However, the Civil War and the rise of the SZRS has seen Artels and unions cleave further apart. With its origins as a peasant party, the SZRS found natural allies in the Artels, who have grown disillusioned with the scorn they received from the avowedly proletarian unions. Savinkov himself has played a role in this alliance as well, as both the Artel's traditionalism and revolutionary potential have featured in his own writings. A long admirer of nihilist Sergei Nechayev, Savinkov has adapted elements of Nechaev's social order, once disparaged by Marx and Engels as barracks communism. With the SRS in power, and later form bringing more peasants into the cities than ever before, the time is right for the Artel to become a new pillar of Russia. Official patronage will make the Artels a fixture in the state-run industry, with workers housed, fed, and directed in an environment of discipline and quality. The trade unions have already voiced their total opposition to this attack on organized labor, but given the expiration of syndicalism is one of the objectives of their expansion of the Artel system, this could only mean that the plan is working. They will have to cope. Okay, what can we do? What can we do? Can't influence Poland right now. We're still influencing people. Can't do this yet. We can do a mining center. Fantastic. And I guess we'll just hold off for right now because we can't raise this because we're still doing the nationalization of Rusican Corp. So I think we just kind of hold on to the political power for the time being, which I think should be fine. Conscription crisis in Quebec. You know what? I'm actually gonna have you force attack. I know that might seem a little risky, but I think it probably is worthwhile. And once we've taken this, Albania should collapse. Albania's annexed. Fantastic. So let's send Siberian volunteers, or not Siberian, Serbian volunteers can place you here. Greek volunteers will place you in the south. And you're just basically going to prepare a push into Bulgaria. I know that seems crazy, but that is right now the plan. And how's Black Monday? Okay, I mean, it's almost over. Which I'm very, very, very happy to see. Okay, we do have some openings around here, which I'm very happy to exploit. All the aircraft now can once again fly into Bulgaria proper. Give us the air superiority that we need. Stand off at America. Okay, so there's the American Civil War. Do I care at all about the American Civil War? My gut answer is, like, my gut reaction is no, that we don't. Like, I don't think it matters to us, like, at all. The Manchurian Curse. 10 years ago in 1928, what began as an incident on the Chinese Eastern Railway became a full-scale military expedition under General Konstantin Sherkov. Shakarov advanced boldly and far too quickly against the poorly armed Chinese forces, eventually coming to a halt at Mujiang in the snow of the Manchurian winter. Sakharov suffered a crippling defeat against the combined forces of Zheng Xiaolin's forces and the Japanese Chosen Army. While the main Russian forces were only being transported to the east, the war turned into a humiliating, destabilizing defeat for the young Russian Republic. The defeat reminded many of the catastrophe of 1905 and was followed by similar political turmoil, culminating in Borislav Bordiev's coup attempt. The Christmas purges enacted by General Kornilov and a great loss of face of the Social Revolutionary President Nikolai Anishev. Many point to it as the beginning of the escalating political instability, which is only halted by the election of Boris Savinkov in 1934. The Far Eastern frontier has been quiet, but the state of constant underfunding. While Japan is regarded as a rival, the budget never seen prioritize the far-flung parts of the nation. Okay. We strengthen against an uprising. I mean, that sounds useful, so we'll spend our political power on that. But I will say, I don't want to deploy these units yet, because again, I want to stockpile rifles for the Caucasus operation. And you guys, we can now kind of come in here and crush you, which I think will be beneficial for us for sure. And how are you guys in the south doing? Relatively okay. Are you guys low morale? You're actually still high, which I'm not a fan of, but I will say at least right now, it's been a good time for the end of this episode. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoying, thumbs down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.